Now let's solve her post. Let's solve question number 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Now let's do question number 10. 12 is 125% of what number? Let n be that number. 12, kopyahin lang natin si 12. Ang is, equal yan siya. 125% is equivalent to 1.25. Kasi para mag-cancel out tayo ng percent sign, dapat mag-divide tayo ng 100%. So, 125% divided by 100%, and that is 1.25%. Ang of ay equivalent ng multiplication yan and n. Para ma-isolate si n dito, mag-divide tayo sa both side ng 1.25. 1.25. So, cancel out na si 1.25 dito. N na yan. So, ang natira ay 12 divided by 1.25. Para mas madali, i-move natin yung decimal to the right. Itong denominator muna. 1, 2. Nakadalawa kang move. So, kung nakadalawa kang move, mag-add ka ng 2 0 sa numerator. Para mas klaro lang, let me do it this way. So, 12 divided by 1.25. Pag mag-divide tayo, yung decimal dito sa divisor natin ay i-move natin to the right para maging whole number siya. 1, 2. Nakadalawang move ka. So, ang decimal dito, mag-move ka rin to the right. 1, 2. So, mga 0 ito. So, itong decimal na to, dito mo rin siya itapat. Now, 1,200 divided by 125. Ilang 125 ang 1,200? Mga 9 yan siya. So, 9 times 125 and that is 1,125. So, this is 75. Mag-down ka ng 0. 750 divided by 125 and that is 6. 6 times 125, 750. So, ang sagot dito ay 9.6. So, this is 9.6. Therefore, ang answer dito ay 9.6. Ito, number 1, 9.6. This is correct. Again, para sa mga nahihirapan ito, kapag 12 is 125% of what number? So, ang 12 is 125 of what number? Ang is, equal yan siya. Ito yung 12 na dinagdagan na natin ng 0 kasi yung denominator niya, mayroon siyang decimal na move natin to the right twice. Kaya 2 0 na siya. So, itong of, naging multiplication. Kapag ganito, yung of ay equal to multiplication at yung is ay equal sign yan siya. So, ito na yung equation natin. So, nung nasolve na natin ito, bakit tayo nag-divide ng 1.25 sa both side para ma-cancel out siya dito at nandito na siya. So, ma-isolate si n. Na-isolate na si n dito. So, 12 divided by 1.5, ganito ang pag-divide. So, i-move muna natin yung decimal dito sa divisor to the right side. Nakadalawang move tayo, kaya nag-add tayo ng 2 0. So, ang answer dito ay 9.6. Let's do question number 11. What percent of 16 is 40? So, let n be that number and then para percentage ang sagot natin, n times 100%. Para percentage ang sagot natin. What percent? So, let n be that number. N of 16 of multiplication yan, 16, is equal sign natin yan, 40. So, ito na yung equation natin. Para ma-isolate si n dito, i-divide natin 16 ang both sides. So, ma-cancel out na si 16 dito. Nandito na siya sa kabila. So, n equals 40 divided by 16. Para mas klaro gawin natin ganito, 16. So, ilang 16 ba si 40? 2. 32, may 8 siya. So, decimal, bring down tayo ng 0. 80 divided by 16 and that is 5. So, ang answer dito ay 2.5. Ang n natin ay 2.5 para percentage ang sagot natin. Wala pang percent sign dyan. Times 100% and that is 250%. So, ang sagot dito ay, itong number 4, 250%. I-double check natin. 250%, lagay natin ng 250% of 16 is 40. So, itong 250%, i-convert muna natin into decimal. So, that is 2.5. 2.5. Mag-convert tayo ng decimal, mag-divide tayo ng 100%. So, magiging 2.5 na lang siya. 2.5 times 16 equals 40. Of multiplication, 16 is 40. 2.5 times 16, that is 40. In other words, ang sagot na 250% at hindi yung 2.5 lang, ang sagot nito ay 250%. Now let's do question number 12. 1 1/4 subtracted from its reciprocal is what? First, itong 1 1/4 natin, i-convert muna natin into improper fraction. Ito, mixed number ito. So, 4 times 1, and that is 4, plus 1 is 5. So, 5 over 4. 5 over 4 subtracted from, bali, yung reciprocal ng 5 over 4 ay 4 over 5. Subtracted from its reciprocal, meaning 4 over 5, ito yung 5 over 4. Bali, 5 over 4 subtracted from its reciprocal. So, 4 over 5 minus 5 over 4. Ito yung reciprocal niya. From, galing sa 4 over 5, ito yung sinusubtract natin sa 4 over 5, 5 over 4. So, ito na yung equation natin. 4 over 5 minus 5 over 4, kuhanan muna natin ng least common denominator, which is 20. Meron tayong separate video on how to find the least common denominator. So, 20 divided by 5 equals 4. 4 times 4 equals 16. In other words, si 4 over 5 ay pareho lang sa 16 over 20. Then, 20 divided by 4 equals 5. 5 times 5 equals 25. In other words, si 5 over 4 equivalent ng 25 over 20. So, pwede na tayong mag-deduct. Kopyahin lang si denominator na 20. So, 16 minus 25, and that is negative 9. So, ang answer dito ay negative 9 over 20. Ito, letter A, negative 9 over 20. Ito yung tamang sagot. Now, let's do question number 13. What is the ratio of 1/4 to 3/5? May background na dog. Hindi siya natutulog. Solution number 1. Multiply both sides by 20. Saan natin nakuha yung 20? 20, yan yung least denominator ng dalawa. So, 1/4 ang isa ay 3/5. I-multiply natin ang both ng 20. So, 20 times 1/4, and that is 20 over 4, that is 5. So, bali 1/4 of 20, that is 5. 20 times 3 over 5, dumami na yung dog. So, this is 60 over 5, or pwede mo i-cancel out dyan. So, maging 4 na siya. So, 4 times 3, that is 12. So, ngayon, ang bagong ratio natin ay 5 is to 12. So, ang answer dito ay 5 is to 12. Ulitin natin yung solution number 1 natin. At medyo distracted ako sa mga background ng mga dogs. So, itong 1/4 at saka si 3/5, i-multiply natin sila pareho ng 20. Separate natin para mas klaro lang. 20 times 1/4. So, mag-multiply tayo. Itong mga whole number, mayroon niyang mga imaginary na denominator na 1. So, automatic na tayo dito. This is numerator. So, 20 times 1 equals 20. 1 times 4 equals 4. 20 over 4, and that is 5. Kaya, 5 ito. Next, 20 times 3 over 5. Again, ang lahat ng whole numbers, mayroon niyang numerator, denominator, automatic na 1. So, 20 times 3, and that is 60. 1 times 5, and that is 5. So, 60 over 5, that is 12. Another way of solving this is i-cancel out natin ito. So, 20 divided by 5, and that is 4. So, itong 5 na to maging 1. So, 4 times 3, and that is 12. 1 times 1 equals 1. In other words, that is 12. So, ito na yung new ratio natin na parehong whole number. 5 is to 12. Now, let's do solution number 2. Let's just find the least common denominator. Again, ang least common denominator nitong dalawa ay 20. Meron din tayong separate video on how to find the least common denominator. 20 divided by 4, that is 5. 5 times 1 equals 5. In other words, si 1/4 ay equivalent ng 5 over 20. 20 divided by 5 equals 4. 4 times 3 equals 12. So, i-cancel out mo lang yung mga denominators. Ignore mo lang. So, ang answer dito ay 5 is to 12. Doon ka lang titingin sa mga numerators nila. Pareho na sila ng denominators. So, ignore mo lang yung mga denominators. So, ang answer dito ay 5 is to 12. Now, let's do solution number 3. Let's convert this fraction into decimal. So, 1/4 is 0.25. At itong 3 over 5, and that is 0.6. I-move natin sa itong decimal place to the right side para maging whole number sila. So, itong 25, 1, 2. Kung kadalawa ka na move dito to the right side, dalawa ka rin dito sa kabila. 1, 2. So, ito 25. Ito naman ay 60. Then, let's find the greatest common factor para ma-list natin itong 25 at saka 60. In other words, ang 1/4 ito is to 3/5. Naging 25, pareho lang siya sa 25 is to 60. Ang greatest common factor nito ay 5 para ma-list natin siya. 25 divided by 5, and that is 5. 60 divided by 5, and that is 12. So, ito na yung ratio. 5 is to 12. Now, let's solve question number 14. What is the difference between square root of 150 and square root of 54? When we say difference, i-minus natin siya. Kaso hindi natin ma-minus kasi nasa loob sila pareho ng radical sign na hindi rin pareho yung numbers. So, ang gagawin natin, itong 150, square root of 150, hanapan natin siya ng perfect na square root. Bali, i-factor out natin siya. So, ang mga factors nito ay 25 times 6. At itong 25, pwede na nating may square root yan. So, square root of 25, and that is 5. 5 square root of 6. In other words, itong square root of 150 is equivalent to 5 square root of 6. Kasi pina-factor out muna natin, hinanapan natin ng perfect square. So, meron 25. Next, square root of 54. Hanapan natin ng perfect square at mayroon niyang 9 times 6. Bali, fina-factor out natin at yung isang factor natin ay perfect square. So, square root of 9 is 3 square root of 6. In other words, square root of 54 is equals to 3 square root of 6. Ngayon, pwede na tayong mag-deduct. 5 square root of 6 minus 3 square root of 6. And that is 2 square root of 6. So, ang sagot dito ay 2 square root of 6. Again, para sa mga nalilito, itong square root of 150, pina-factor out natin, hinanapan natin ng may perfect na square ito. So, yung isang factors dapat ma-perfect square natin. So, that is 25 times 6. Square root of 25, and that is 5. So, mayroon tayong nasa loob ng radical sign, which is 6. Now, itong square root of 54, ang factor out natin ay 9 at saka 6. Pwedeng ma-square si 9. So, square root of 9 is 3. Ang nasa loob ng radical sign natin ay 6. Pareho na silang 6. So, kopyahin lang si 6. And then, i-deduct natin si 5 at saka 3. And the answer is 2. Parang ganun lang din yan. Like, example, itong radical sign, parang ganun lang ba? 5a minus 3a equals 2a. Example lang yan. So, kopyahin lang si square root of 6 and your answer is 2 square root of 6.